Moving to a small town nestled in the mountains was supposed to be my escape. I needed a fresh start, a place where the memories of my past wouldn't haunt me at every corner. The town was quaint and charming, with its old-world architecture and winding cobblestone streets. But what intrigued me the most were the stories of mythical creatures that the locals whispered about, especially the one about the Hawkman. It was a crisp autumn morning when I decided to explore the forest just beyond the town. The air was filled with the scent of pine and earth, and the vibrant colors of the leaves created a mesmerizing tapestry. With my sketchbook in hand, I ventured deeper into the woods, hoping to find inspiration for my art. After walking for what felt like hours, I stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood a massive oak tree, its branches stretching towards the sky. As I approached, a sudden rustle made me stop in my tracks. Perched on one of the lower branches was a creature unlike anything I had ever seen, a man with the wings and eyes of a hawk. My heart raced, and I could feel my legs trembling. The creature's piercing gaze locked onto mine, and for a moment I was paralyzed with fear. But then, something unexpected happened. He spoke. "Do not be afraid," he said in a voice that was surprisingly gentle. "I mean you no harm." His words, though reassuring, did little to calm my racing heart. What are you?" I managed to stammer. "My name is Nathaniel," he replied, his wings twitching slightly. "I am what you see, a hawkman cursed to live between two worlds." Curiosity slowly began to replace my fear. I took a tentative step closer. "Cursed? How did that happen?" Nathaniel's gaze softened and he sighed. "It is a long story, one filled with sorrow and regret, but I assure you I am not a danger to you or anyone else." As the initial shock wore off, I found myself wanting to know more. I wanted to understand his story, to capture the essence of his existence in my art. Can I sketch you?" I asked hesitantly. He seemed taken aback by my request, but then nodded slowly. "If it will help you understand, then yes." For the next few hours, I sketched Nathaniel as he perched on the oak tree. We talked, and I learned bits and pieces of his past. He had once been fully human, a kind-hearted man who had fallen victim to a cruel curse. The details were still hazy, but I could see the pain in his eyes as he spoke. When the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the clearing, I realized how much time had passed. Reluctantly, I closed my sketchbook. "Thank you, Nathaniel," I said softly, "for trusting me." He nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "And thank you, Anna, for not running away." As I made my way back to the town, my mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. I had come to this place to escape, but instead I had stumbled upon something extraordinary. Nathaniel was a mystery, and I was determined to uncover the truth about his curse. Back in town, I couldn't wait to tell Lily about my encounter. She was my best friend and a local historian, always fascinated by the town's legends. When I finally found her in the library, poring over old books, I blurted out my story in a rush. At first, she looked at me skeptically. "A hawkman? Are you sure you didn't just imagine it?" "Lily, I swear it's true. I talked to him. His name is Nathaniel, and he's real." She stared at me for a moment before finally nodding. "All right, let's say I believe you. We need to find out more about this curse. There must be something in the town's history that can help." With Lily's help, I started to piece together the fragments of Nathaniel's story. It was clear that he was hiding something, but I was determined to gain his trust and uncover the truth. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would change my life forever. Over the next few days, I found myself constantly thinking about Nathaniel. His story, his existence, the pain in his eyes, all of it haunted me. I spent hours in the library with Lily, sifting through old records and dusty tomes. The town had a rich history of folklore, but there was very little concrete information about the Hawkman. It seemed that his story was shrouded in mystery, much like the man himself. One evening, as I sat in my small cottage sketching Nathaniel from memory, I heard a knock at the door. To my surprise, it was Old Man Jacob, the town's eccentric storyteller. He had a reputation for spinning wild tales, and most of the townsfolk dismissed him as just an old man with too much time on his hands. But now, I was eager to hear what he had to say. "Anna, may I come in?" he asked, his voice gravelly yet kind. "Of course, Mr. Jacob. Please have a seat," I replied, motioning to a chair by the fireplace. He sat down and looked around the room, his eyes finally settling on the sketches scattered across my table. "You've met him, haven't you?" he said, more as a statement than a question. "Yes," I admitted. "His name is Nathaniel. Do you know about him?" Jacob nodded slowly. "I do. I've known about him for a long time, though I've never seen him myself. His story is one of the town's darkest secrets, one that many prefer to forget." I leaned forward, eager for any information he could provide. "What happened to him? Why was he cursed?" Jacob sighed and began to speak, his voice low and somber. "Many years ago, Nathaniel was a young man, deeply in love with a woman named Eliza. They were inseparable, their love the kind that people write songs about. But there was another man, the mayor's ancestor, who desired Eliza for himself. When she chose Nathaniel, the spurned suitor turned to dark magic, cursing Nathaniel out of jealousy and rage." I listened intently, the pieces of the puzzle starting to come together. "So, Nathaniel was cursed to live as a hawkman?" "Yes," Jacob confirmed. "The curse was meant to separate him from Eliza forever. She died of a broken heart, and Nathaniel was left to wander the forests, neither fully man nor beast. He's lived like this for centuries, isolated and alone." My heart ached for Nathaniel. The thought of him living through such pain and loss was almost unbearable. "Is there any way to break the curse?" I asked, hope mingling with desperation. Jacob looked at me with a mixture of pity and determination. "The legends say that only an act of true love and sacrifice can break the curse. But such things are easier said than done, especially when fear and mistrust run deep." I nodded, absorbing his words. "Thank you, Mr. Jacob. I appreciate you telling me this." He smiled kindly and patted my hand. "Be careful, Anna. The path you're on is fraught with danger. But sometimes the greatest stories come from the greatest risks." After Jacob left, I sat by the fire, lost in thought. True love and sacrifice, these were not things to be taken lightly. But I couldn't shake the feeling that meeting Nathaniel was no mere coincidence. There was a reason our paths had crossed, and I was determined to see it through. The next morning, I set out to find Nathaniel again. This time, I brought my sketchbook and a few supplies, hoping to spend more time with him and perhaps learn more about his curse. As I approached the clearing, I saw him perched in the oak tree, just as majestic as before. "Anna," he greeted me, a hint of surprise in his voice. "You've returned." "Of course," I replied with a smile. "I couldn't stay away. I've been learning more about you, about your curse." Nathaniel's expression darkened slightly. "It's not a pleasant story." "I know," I said softly, "but I want to help you if I can." He sighed and flew down from the tree, landing gracefully beside me. "Your kindness is rare, Anna, but this curse, it's not something that can be easily undone." "Old man Jacob told me that it requires an act of true love and sacrifice," I said, looking into his eyes. "I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm willing to try." Nathaniel looked at me, a mixture of hope and sorrow in his eyes. "You're a remarkable woman, Anna, but this path you're choosing, it's not without peril." "I understand," I replied, my voice steady, "but I can't just walk away. Not now. Not after meeting you." He smiled, a sad but grateful smile, and took my hand. "Then let's face this together, whatever may come." And so our journey began. Each day I spent more time with Nathaniel, learning about his life, his hopes, and his fears. The more I knew, the more determined I became to find a way to break his curse. It was a daunting task, but with each passing day, I felt our bond growing stronger. Little did I know, the road ahead would be filled with unexpected twists and challenges that would test our resolve and our love. As the days turned into weeks, Nathaniel and I fell into a comfortable routine. Each morning, I would hike to the clearing, and he would be there, waiting for me. We talked for hours about everything and nothing, our pasts, our dreams, the world beyond the forest. The more time I spent with him, the more I felt my heart swell with feelings I hadn't expected to have again. Nathaniel's presence became a source of inspiration for my art. His unique form, his sorrowful eyes, the way his wings glistened in the sunlight, I wanted to capture it all. My sketches of him filled my sketchbook, each drawing a testament to the connection we were building. One afternoon, as I was putting the finishing touches on a portrait of him, Nathaniel spoke up. "Anna, why do you come here every day?" I looked up, surprised by the question. "I come because I want to be with you, because I care about you." He seemed to ponder this for a moment. "But you hardly know me. And what you do know is complicated. I put down my pencil and moved closer to him. I know enough. I know that you're kind and brave and that you've suffered more than anyone should. And I know that I want to help you, Nathaniel. I want to break this curse. He reached out and gently touched my hand. Your kindness is a balm to my weary soul. But this curse, it's been my burden for so long. I fear what it might demand of you. I'm not afraid, I said firmly. Not if it means freeing you. He sighed, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and resignation. Very well, Anna. We'll face this together. Our bond deepened with each passing day, but it wasn't without challenges. Mayor Thompson, ever the skeptic, had started to notice my frequent absences. One evening, as I returned from the forest, he confronted me outside my cottage. Anna, a word, please, he said, his tone stern. Yes, Mayor Thompson? I replied, trying to hide my nervousness. I've noticed you've been spending a lot of time in the forest. What exactly are you doing out there? I'm just exploring, finding inspiration for my art, I said, hoping he would believe me. He narrowed his eyes. Exploring, huh? Be careful, Anna. The forest can be a dangerous place. There are stories. I know the stories, I interrupted, but I'm not afraid of them. He studied me for a moment, then nodded. Very well. Just be cautious. As he walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that he suspected more than he was letting on. I needed to be careful. Back at the clearing, Nathaniel and I discussed our next steps. Lily had been helping me research old texts, and we had found a few clues about how to break the curse. It seemed that the key lay in an ancient ritual, one that required a great deal of preparation, and, as always, a sacrifice. One evening, as we sat by a small fire, Nathaniel told me more about his past. Eliza was the love of my life, he said, his voice filled with sorrow. When she died, I thought I would never feel joy again. But then you came along, and he trailed off, and I could see the conflict in his eyes. And what? I prompted gently. And you've given me hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, I can be free of this curse. But I'm terrified of losing you, too. You won't lose me, I said firmly. We're in this together, remember? He smiled, a small but genuine smile. Together. Our plan was simple, yet fraught with uncertainty. We would perform the ritual during the next full moon, when the veil between our world and the mystical realm was thinnest. Lily helped gather the necessary materials, herbs, crystals, and an ancient book that detailed the steps of the ritual. She was skeptical but supportive, trusting my judgment. The day of the ritual approached quickly. I could feel the tension in the air, a mix of excitement and dread. As the sun set on the night of the full moon, Nathaniel and I prepared ourselves. We stood in the clearing, surrounded by the materials we had gathered, the moonlight casting an ethereal glow around us. Are you ready? I asked, my heart pounding in my chest. As ready as I'll ever be, Nathaniel replied, his eyes filled with determination. We began the ritual, chanting the ancient words from the book. The air around us seemed to hum with energy, and I could feel a strange warmth enveloping us. As the final words left our lips, a blinding light erupted from the circle we had drawn on the ground. For a moment, everything was silent and still. Then, a powerful force surged through us, and I felt myself being lifted off the ground. Nathaniel's wings unfurled, and he let out a cry of pain and relief. The light grew brighter, and I could see his form changing, shifting back to that of a human. But something was wrong. I felt a searing pain in my chest, and I realized that the ritual was demanding a price. I had to make a choice, my humanity or Nathaniel's freedom. With a final, desperate act of love, I embraced the light, accepting my fate. As the pain intensified, I felt my own form changing, my body transforming into that of a hawk woman. When the light finally faded, Nathaniel stood before me, fully human once more. Tears filled his eyes as he looked at me, now transformed. Anna? What have you done? He whispered, his voice choked with emotion. I chose you, I replied, my voice filled with both sorrow and love. I chose us. And in that moment, I knew that our journey was far from over. We would face whatever came next together, as we always had. For better or worse, our destinies were now intertwined, and our love would guide us through whatever challenges lay ahead. The days following the ritual were a blur of adjustments and realizations. Nathaniel, now fully human, struggled to come to terms with his new form. I, on the other hand, had to navigate life as a hawk woman, My senses were heightened, and I could feel the wind beneath my wings, but there was an aching loss of my former self. Nathaniel and I spent more time together than ever before. He taught me how to control my new abilities, while I helped him acclimate to being human again. Our bond grew stronger, each day a testament to our love and sacrifice. Lily was a constant source of support. She helped us research more about the ancient curse, hoping to find a way to reverse my transformation. She found an old text suggesting that there might be another way to break the curse completely, but it required a deeper understanding of the magic involved. As we delved deeper into the mystery, Mayor Thompson's suspicions grew. He had seen the changes in me and noticed Nathaniel's sudden reappearance as a human. His determination to uncover the truth became more evident with each passing day. One afternoon, as Nathaniel and I walked through the forest, he turned to me with a serious expression. "Anna, there's something I need to tell you." I looked at him, sensing his unease. "What is it, Nathaniel?" He took a deep breath. "There's a part of the curse that I didn't fully understand until now. When the curse was first placed on me, it was meant to bind me to this forest, to keep me here forever. But now that I'm human again, I can feel a pull, a connection to this place. If we don't find a way to break the curse completely, I might never be able to leave." His words hit me like a punch to the gut. "So you're saying that even though you're human, the curse still holds you here?" He nodded. "Yes, and if we don't find a way to undo it entirely, it might start affecting you too." Determined to find a solution, we redoubled our efforts. With Lily's help, we discovered an ancient ritual site deep within the forest, said to be the source of the curse's power. It was risky, but it might hold the key to our freedom. As we prepared to journey to the ritual site, Old Man Jacob visited us once again. He brought with him an old map and a cryptic warning. "The path you seek is fraught with danger. The curse was created with dark magic, and breaking it will require a great sacrifice." "We're prepared for whatever it takes," I said, my resolve unwavering. Jacob nodded solemnly. "Very well. Follow this map to the heart of the forest. There, you will find the ritual site, but be wary, for the magic that binds you is powerful and unpredictable." The next day, Nathaniel, Lily, and I set out for the heart of the forest. The journey was arduous, the terrain becoming increasingly treacherous as we ventured deeper into the woods. Along the way, we encountered strange creatures and eerie sights, remnants of the dark magic that had cursed Nathaniel. As we neared the ritual site, we came upon an ancient stone altar, covered in vines and moss. The air was thick with a palpable energy, and I could feel the weight of the curse pressing down on us. "We're here," Nathaniel said, his voice tinged with both hope and fear. We gathered around the altar, and Lily began to read from the ancient text. The ritual required us to channel our love and sacrifice into breaking the curse's hold. As we recited the incantations, the ground beneath us trembled, and a blinding light enveloped us. In that moment, I felt a surge of power, as if the very essence of the forest was flowing through me. Nathaniel and I held hands, our connection a beacon of hope in the swirling chaos. The light grew brighter, and I could feel the curse's grip weakening. But just as we thought we were succeeding, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. It was Mayor Thompson, his eyes filled with a malevolent determination. "You think you can break the curse that easily?" he sneered. "It's not just magic. It's a legacy, a power that my family has guarded for generations." Before we could react, Thompson raised his hand, and a wave of dark energy surged toward us. Nathaniel stepped in front of me, shielding me from the blast. He cried out in pain, and I felt a searing agony in my chest. "No!" I screamed, reaching out to him. In that moment of desperation, something incredible happened. The love and sacrifice we had channeled into the ritual intensified, and a brilliant light erupted from within us. The dark energy was repelled, and Thompson was thrown back, his form disintegrating into shadows. As the light faded, I looked at Nathaniel, tears streaming down my face. "Are you okay?" I whispered. He nodded weakly, a smile on his lips. "We did it, Anna. The curse, it's broken." I felt a warmth enveloping us, and I knew he was right. The forest seemed to come alive around us, the dark magic dissipating. I looked down at myself and saw that my form was changing once again. My wings disappeared, and I felt the familiar weight of my human body returning. We held each other tightly, the enormity of what we had accomplished sinking in. The curse was finally broken, and we were free. Lily approached us, her eyes filled with awe and relief. "You did it. You really did it." As we made our way back to the town, we knew that our lives would never be the same. The journey had tested us in ways we couldn't have imagined, but it had also brought us closer together. We had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, our love a beacon of hope and resilience. The town welcomed us back with open arms, and Mayor Thompson's dark legacy was finally laid to rest. Old Man Jacob's stories took on a new light as the town embraced its mystical past and celebrated the love and courage that had broken the curse. Nathaniel and I stood at the edge of the forest, hand in hand, ready to face whatever the future held. Our love had conquered the darkness, and together we would build a new life, free from the shadows of the past. With the curse finally broken, Nathaniel and I began to build our new life together. The town, once wary of the myths and legends that had haunted it for centuries, now embraced its mystical heritage. Nathaniel's transformation and our journey had inspired many, and our story became a symbol of hope and resilience. We decided to renovate an old cottage on the outskirts of town, close enough to the forest to remind us of our journey, but far enough to embrace the life we were creating together. The cottage became a sanctuary, filled with love and laughter, a stark contrast to the sorrow and isolation that had once defined Nathaniel's existence. Lily continued to be a constant source of support. She helped us navigate the challenges of our new lives and was a frequent visitor to our cottage. Her passion for history and folklore only grew, and she began to document our story, ensuring that future generations would know the truth about the Hawkman and the woman who loved him. One evening, as the three of us sat by the fireplace, Lily brought out her latest research. "There's something you both need to see," she said, her eyes twinkling with excitement. She unrolled a parchment that detailed the lineage of the town's founding families, including the Thompsons. "I found this in the town archives. It turns out that the curse wasn't just a punishment. It was also a binding spell, meant to protect a hidden treasure." Nathaniel and I exchanged surprised glances. "A treasure?" I asked, intrigued. Lily nodded. "Yes, a treasure that was said to grant immense power. The Thompson family guarded it jealously, and when the curse was placed on Nathaniel, it was also meant to prevent anyone from finding it. Do you think the curse being broken means the treasure can be found now?" Nathaniel asked. Lily shrugged. "It's possible, but I think the real treasure isn't gold or jewels. It's the legacy of love and sacrifice that you two have shown." We decided to explore the forest once more, not in search of treasure, but to lay to rest any lingering remnants of the dark magic that had plagued us. As we ventured deeper into the woods, we found the old ritual site now bathed in a peaceful light, the air no longer heavy with malevolence. As we stood at the stone altar, Nathaniel took my hand. "This place was once a symbol of pain and suffering," he said softly, "but now it's a testament to our love and the strength we found together." I smiled, feeling a sense of closure, and it always will be. Our exploration didn't uncover any hidden treasure, but it did bring us a deeper understanding of our journey. We returned to the cottage, content with the knowledge that we had overcome the darkest of times together. The town continued to thrive, and the story of the Hawkman became a beloved legend. Schools taught it to children, and artists came to the town, inspired by our tale. The forest, once feared, became a place of wonder and beauty, attracting visitors from far and wide. One day, as Nathaniel and I walked through the town square, we saw a group of children gathered around Old Man Jacob. He was telling them the story of the Hawkman, his voice filled with the same warmth and wisdom that had guided us. And so the Hawkman and the woman who loved him showed us all that love can conquer any curse, Jacob concluded, his eyes meeting ours with a knowing smile. The children cheered, and Nathaniel squeezed my hand. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" "We have," I agreed, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "And we'll keep going together." As the seasons changed, so did our lives. We faced new challenges and celebrated new joys, always together. Our love, forged in the fires of sacrifice and struggle, remained our guiding light. One autumn evening, as we sat on the porch of our cottage, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and crimson, Nathaniel turned to me. Anna, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? Tears filled my eyes as I looked at the man who had become my everything. Yes, Nathaniel, I will. Our wedding was a simple, heartfelt affair, held in the clearing where we had first met. Surrounded by friends, old and new, we exchanged vows of love and commitment, sealing our bond in the place that had brought us together. As we danced under the stars, the forest alive with the magic of the night, I knew that our story was far from over. We had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, our love a beacon of hope and resilience. And so we embraced the new dawn, ready to face whatever the future held, together. The years that followed our wedding were filled with joy, challenges, and the steady rhythm of a life built on love and resilience. Nathaniel and I settled into a peaceful existence, our cottage becoming a hub of activity and warmth. Friends and neighbors often visited, drawn by the story of the Hawkman and the artist who had saved him. Lily's research continued to uncover fascinating details about the town's history and its mystical roots. She became a respected historian, her work gaining recognition far beyond our small town. She even wrote a book about our journey, capturing the essence of our love and the strength it had taken to break the curse. One spring morning, as the flowers began to bloom and the forest came alive with new life, Nathaniel and I received unexpected visitors. A group of scholars and adventurers had come to learn more about the curse and the treasure Lily had discovered in her research. Among them was a young woman named Eleanor, a passionate archaeologist who had heard of our story and was eager to uncover the town's hidden secrets. Mr. and Mrs. Collins, Eleanor began, her eyes bright with excitement, I believe there's more to your story and this forest than we've uncovered. Will you help us explore further? Nathaniel and I exchanged glances, a sense of adventure sparking in our hearts. Of course, I said. We'd be happy to help. Over the next few weeks, we ventured deeper into the forest with Eleanor and her team. We discovered ancient ruins, remnants of a civilization that had once thrived in harmony with nature. The treasure, as it turned out, was not gold or jewels, but a wealth of knowledge and artifacts that spoke of a time when magic and the natural world were intertwined. As we uncovered more of the forest's secrets, we realized that the curse had been a dark chapter in a much larger, richer history. The knowledge we gained helped us understand the true nature of the curse and the legacy it had left behind. One evening, as we sat around a campfire in the heart of the forest, Eleanor turned to us with a thoughtful expression. Your love broke the curse, but it also restored balance to this place. You've given us a gift far greater than any treasure. Nathaniel smiled, his hand intertwined with mine. We've found our own treasure, he said, his voice filled with warmth, in each other and in the life we've built together. Eleanor nodded, her eyes reflecting the firelight. And you've given us hope. The knowledge we've uncovered will help future generations understand the importance of love, sacrifice, and resilience. As the months passed, the town became a center for scholars and adventurers, all drawn by the story of the Hawkman and the artist. Our cottage, once a quiet sanctuary, became a place of learning and discovery. Nathaniel and I embraced our roles as guides and storytellers, sharing our experiences and the lessons we had learned. One sunny afternoon, as we walked through the forest, now vibrant with life and free from the shadows of the past, Nathaniel stopped and looked at me, his eyes filled with love. Anna, do you ever think about how far we've come? I smiled, taking in the beauty around us. Every day. Our journey has been incredible, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. He pulled me close, his lips brushing against my forehead. Neither would I. We've created something beautiful out of the darkness, and I'm grateful for every moment with you. As the years went by, our family grew. We welcomed 2 children into our lives, a son named Eliza, after Nathaniel's first love, and a daughter named Hope, symbolizing the resilience and optimism that had carried us through our trials. Our children grew up with stories of magic and adventure, their lives rooted in the love and strength that had defined our journey. One evening, as the sun set over the forest and the sky was painted in hues of gold and crimson, Nathaniel and I stood on the porch of our cottage, watching our children play. The air was filled with laughter and the soft rustling of leaves, a symphony of life and love. We've come a long way, Nathaniel said, his voice filled with wonder. I nodded, feeling a deep sense of contentment, and we've created a legacy that will last for generations. As we stood there, hand in hand, I knew that our journey was far from over. The love that had broken the curse and brought us together would continue to guide us through whatever the future held. We had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, our love a beacon of hope and resilience for all who would come after us. And so we embraced the new dawn, ready to face whatever adventures lay ahead, together, forever bound by the love that had transformed our lives and the world around us.